How's it going, everyone? I'm Tom, aka GeoWizard, and I'm sick of this thing. Aren't we all by now? I mean, yeah, they're useful, but I want my life back. Do you know what I mean? Let me explain, because it sounds dramatic, but when you really think about it, it's not. So a few weekends ago, right, the wife went away for the night to visit friends. So I was home alone, had the place to myself. So it was, right, what do I watch? I can watch sport, anything that the wife wouldn't want to watch, right? Maybe a music documentary or, a history. It was a history doc in this case. It was documentary about pirates. Great, fascinating. I'll get stuck into that. So stuck it on, got about 3 minutes in, and my brain went, no, you're going on your phone, mate. So that was it. I just sat there on my phone instead. What the f*** am I doing? Can I not watch? But, maybe I just needed to pig out. Maybe I just needed to just veg out. So I let myself have that one. Next day, it was a Premier League humdinger of a fixture, right? Arsenal versus Chelsea, it was. Brilliant. Let's have it. Let's hunker down for 2 hours and really, see who comes out on top of this sporting spectacle. 7 minutes in, there's a lull in play, a throw in maybe. Phone comes out. Watching sporadically. What am I doing? I used to love that. What's going on? Now, I'm not an idiot, right? I was well aware that I was addicted to my phone before those incidents. In fact, I'd already taken measures to try and reduce my screen time. I deleted the really addictive apps like Instagram and TikTok a couple of years ago. I downloaded an app that makes you wait 20 seconds before you can open another app. And most recently made my screen black and white to reduce the eye-catching colours. And while those things did help, they only did so much to dampen the addiction. I still pick up my phone the moment I wake up in the morning and look at it before I fall asleep. And the reels have just been replaced by news, sport, Strava, WhatsApp. And I'm still spending between 2 and 2.5 hours a day looking at it. Okay, that might not be that bad to some people, but that's still 1/8 of my waking life down the drain. And the wasted time isn't even the worst thing. It's the effect it's having on me. I'm slightly more zombie-like these days. I'm way less creative. I mean, these things are gathering dust over here. I don't have as many good ideas. Didn't have that many anyway, but don't have any now. I'm less engaged in things. I enjoy things less. Can't watch snooker anymore. Forget it. I'm less present with my friends and family, less resilient. And to be fair, alcohol probably is a factor in all of that stuff as well. And I am making it sound worse than it is, okay? It's not that bad. The effects are only slight, but the bottom line is this, right? This is the crux. There's a ceiling on my potential right here. I can feel it. Because at the slightest bit of hardship, you can distract yourself. So it's so obvious that ceiling is preventing me from being the best version of myself that I can be and from achieving all the things that I'm supposed to be achieving. And for what? What am I gaining? Nothing, really. I mean, when you really think about it, a few funny reels? No. Pretty much nothing. So, yeah, I'm f***ing this thing off, man. This thing is engineered to keep you entranced. So, let's see, if nothing else, what kind of an adventure I can have, in the broad sense of the term, by snapping out of that trance. And that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be a condensed version of that adventure. The trials and tribulations, the inconveniences, and even the impossibilities of not having a smartphone, and how I presumably get around them because I haven't really thought a lot of it through yet. But then on the flip side, the positives, right? The life-changing, soul-cleansing freedom and meaning that will hopefully flood back into my life. Now, just before that journey begins, yes, quite a few people have done this on YouTube. I know this is nothing new, but this video for me isn't about doing something that hasn't been done before. It's about following my heart and doing something that I really deeply want to do, embarking on a different sort of adventure than what I'm used to, but also hopefully making a difference, inspiring others to reclaim their lives, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. So without any further ado, I'm gonna shove this guitar string into this tiny little hole, not the pin that it came with, but a guitar string. It's symbolic. It's not going to work actually, is it? Oh, no. And I'm going to take this, thankfully SIM only contract SIM, and stick it into this brand new Nokia 3310 remake, which apparently isn't that good, but again, it's symbolic of my childhood. There we go. Ugh, what am I doing? Right, that is now going to be locked. Okay, right, it's not going in the bin, and it's not being chucked on a forest floor in Northumberland either. Same phone, by the way. Yeah, it was retrieved, I know. Unbelievable. All for nothing. I'm going to put it in a little sort of safe box in this room, my office, because, and this isn't cheating, but I'm going to use it for banking apps, and that's it. So if I need to send money, I'll use it. It's a banking app machine, that's it. This, however, is going to be my phone now. Da 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 dee. When times were simpler. But what can this one do, I hear you ask? Well, not a lot. I'm going to be able to send texts, make calls. I'm probably going to end up playing Snake for 5 hours a day. But I'm going to try and refrain from playing Snake. I'm going to use it as an alarm clock, a calculator, things like that. And I think I can get some music on there. And it's actually got a headphone jack. Apple, take f***ing note. But all the other things that I used to do on my phone that I can't do on this, I'm going to have to find ways round. Right, so here's a quick look at all the things that I use my phone for and what I'm going to replace that with. So I have thought about this a bit, but how practical all of this stuff will be, I don't know. And I may have missed some things as well. Photos and videos, I'm just going to use my GoPro. So I need to carry this around with me a bit more. Audio notes, like say if I have a good idea or an idea for a song, I can use the camera on this. It takes videos, very, very shit ones. Notes is something I use a hell of a lot on this, but I've bought some real life notepads and a couple of pens. Google Maps is a tough one. The car sat nav I can use, but it's shit. But I am GeoWizard. I do have that. I do know my way around the country to an extent. So that will be like a little challenge for me to kind of find my way around. But it will result in some bad situations, I think. Train tickets, plane tickets, that is a tough one, but I should be able to print them off on a printer. Apple Pay, paying for things, I'll just do what I did a year ago and use a physical card. WhatsApp, I think I can use WhatsApp web, but only when I'm on my computer. But that's better than nothing, a lot better, because everyone uses WhatsApp in the UK. Spotify, I won't be able to use, but I can get a good 20,000 songs on this if I really want. There's loads of things I'll just do on my computer, YouTube, Studio, Gmail, Strava. I can still use the desktop. I just need to plug my watch in to the PC. Social media can all be on the computer. Discord, Googling things, that's going to be annoying. I do like Googling weird things like, I don't know, what was it earlier today? What is yeast? Like, what does yeast have arms and legs?
You know, things like that. What year did Rubens Barrichello retire? You know, things like that. Couple of things here that I will just have to live without. Shazam and Uber. Fantasy football, Super 6, Sky Bet can all do it on the PC, but that will have some caveats. And then, as I said before, this can do a few things as well. Some of this stuff I've bought, some of it I haven't, or I'm not sure if I need to buy. So I'm just going to walk out my office door now with this new phone and wait until a really annoying hurdle crops up and deal with it. Right, wish me luck. First thing I needed to do was go food shopping. Usually I'd use my Apple Notes to make my lists, but from now on I'd need to write them up on this brand spanking new notepad I bought from WH Smith's, and I was off to a flyer. Why do pens never bloody work? Is the technology just not there yet? With pens? Have they just given up on pens? When I did finally get the pen working, I realised I'd forgotten how to write. But I enjoyed it really. And actually, at the shop, I found the list easier to work from than my phone. All the items are written there right in front of you. You can just grab something and pop it in the trolley without having to stop and get your phone out all the time. At the checkout, I obviously just paid with my physical card, and the lady behind the till, who seemed quite intrigued and refreshed by what I was doing, was able to manually type the long number on my Waitrose card to activate my discount vouchers, although it did keep people waiting for a minute. Usually when I get home from the shop, I put some music or an audiobook on while I put the food away and start cooking lunch. But all I had was the radio feature on my dumb phone, which for some reason only picks up 3 channels, the best of which was Classic FM. Yeah! It's not something I would normally choose to listen to, but today, albeit with limited options, it felt right. In fact, within seconds, I'd been transported to a simple, peaceful place in my childhood, walking into the hall for morning assembly in primary school, or playing snakes and ladders at my nan's house, and then beyond that to a time where books and antiques reigned supreme.
I'm relaxed, man.
During my lunch break, me and Verity finished off a documentary, and when she left the room to make a cup of tea, I felt quite a strong urge to look at my phone. But as soon as my brain realised that it wasn't an option, it really wasn't actually that bad. That evening when I cooked dinner, I used the timer feature on my phone to boil some pasta, although it wouldn't let me actually view it once it had started, which was annoying.
I'm having to listen to Sarah Cox on Radio 2, which isn't great, and I can't see the timer. I want to be able to see the timer, do you know what I mean?
And then when I tried to link my speaker to the phone via Bluetooth, which you're supposed to be able to do, it didn't work.
It connects, but it won't play. Great song as well. Great.
So I ordered myself a DAB radio/CD player for the kitchen, because I'm old and already have loads of CDs. And 2 days later, when the novelty of Classic FM was well and truly starting to wear off,
one word for it, spectacular. That was the Toreadors song.
I put it to work.
First CD I ever owned, so quite fitting. Sounds pretty good. And you know.
Later that night, when Verity went to her pregnancy yoga class, we had a decent dump of snow, and I was more than happy to watch that come down for 20 minutes before watching a documentary on the Zambezi River, which I managed to stay pretty engrossed in until urges to play Snake eventually took over. There was obviously still some work to do, but one area I was noticing a positive change was in the morning. Usually I'd wake up at 6:30 and go on my phone for 20 minutes or so, but now all the things I'd want to check, messages, sport, etc., were on my computer. So I simply got up at 6:30 and went downstairs to work instead. This earlier start, combined with a clearer head and less distractions throughout the day, enabled me to get my work done quicker, and this gave me more time later in the day to do other stuff. I did some DIY, which I didn't once lose my temper with, and took our baby daughter out to see her first proper dump of snow, which was extra magical because I was properly present for it.
How's it going, everyone? 5th day of this little experiment, and just thought I'd fill you in on how it's gone so far. As you can see, I'm on a lovely nice little walk on this snowy Sunday. I say lovely nice little walk, it was meant to be just canal, no trespassing, but there was a bit more trespassing than I anticipated. Started off lovely, then went off piste, ended up getting quite near a farm near the HS2 site, stumbled across a magnificent old lock. Oh my god, I did not know this was here, and then realised it was in someone's back garden. Oh shit, there's a house there. Retreat, retreat. So I had to skirt round. Shit. Ended up in more private fields, and then ended up in this place. My foot is absolutely soaked, by the way, from that. Oh, there's a car down there, or a van at least. I'm gonna go this way. Oh shit. I am on really private ground. Let's try through here. Where the f*** is this, man? Oh, we're here. Very good job I didn't go that way. That's where I would have ended up. And that is pretty private. And that brings us back to here. So overall, not too bad, really. Not without its difficulties, but I'll tell you this, 5 days in, the urges to pull out the phone from my pocket have reduced. They have. They've not completely. I've had a couple of urges to pull out my phone and play Snake, because that's all I can do. But that's pretty good, I think. You know, 5 days in, my brain has already gone, no phone in the pocket, no smartphone in the pocket. Let's just adapt. Let's just crack on with life. I thought it might take a bit longer for that to happen, but I am already much less bored walking along this canal, and why shouldn't I be? You know, it's a lovely day, snow on the ground, lots of nature to absorb. Yeah, I'm less bored, more present, enjoying things slightly more already. It has been fiddly at times, and I do still need to order a few bits and bobs to make things go more smoothly, but in theory, once all that's sorted, things should get smoother. However, I am predicting that there will be a few scenarios that will arise where I just go, for f***'s sake, I wish I had my smartphone right now. I mean, look, already today it started raining. Now, I didn't check the forecast this morning. I could have gone on my computer, but I didn't think to do it. And for all I know, it could be about to absolutely tip it down. And I can't get an Uber home. So, yeah, things like that, really. Scenarios like that. But then again, so what? Getting soaked to the bone, isn't that just part of life?
But rain wasn't the only thing that threatened to tarnish my walk.
Okay, the rain stopped, but I have got completely lost because I don't have a map.
And then the rain returned anyway.
And now I'm wet and lost.
For a while I guessed my way through the soggy fields, aiming blindly for my target of King's Bromley, but soon the inevitable happened.
Oh God, can't do this, can I? Gonna have to, I think. Shit. God, what am I doing?
I found myself balancing on a slippery log whilst attempting to free my coat from the clutches of various dead brambles.
That is mental, mate.
This is mental.
Thankfully, I managed to make it across, only to find myself ankle deep in a waterlogged parsnip field.
What was the point in even using the log? That is so cold. Ah, my God. This. Absolutely ridiculous. How do I get myself in these ridiculous situations? Smartphone or no smartphone?
That was a good question, because the truth was I could have simply uploaded my desired route to my running watch, but that would have required me to think, something that you don't always need to do when you've got a smartphone in your pocket. Eventually I popped out at Kings Bromley Marina, and thanks to Verity, who texted me a local taxi number, it looked like I was going to be home in time for lunch. But not before a nostalgic 20 minutes of waiting around to be picked up. One thing I got from that walk was a sudden urge to call someone.
Hello, Nan. Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
So, a couple of days later, I entered all the contacts I'd ever realistically want or need onto the new phone, which turned out to be a surprisingly small amount. That weekend I became engrossed in a snooker match and successfully hunkered down for a distractionless Premier League humdinger. But I was also starting to get urges to do other, more organic activities too. So I headed to Waterstones to buy a couple of juicy history books.
Yeah. History.
And then something really amazing happened. I found myself with a strong urge to mess about on my guitar, something I hadn't done in about a year. But there was still something I was struggling with.
You know, the urge to pull this out and play Snake is strong. I've got a bit of a Snake problem, I won't lie. And it just defeats the whole purpose of this thing, doesn't it? The whole purpose, or the main purpose of this thing, is to stop myself pulling the phone out to distract myself when I get bored or remotely uncomfortable. And if I'm playing Snake, and it is addictive, trying to beat your score, then it's just pointless. It's kind of like if you're it's like Snake is like my methadone to a recovering heroin addict. It's better than what I was on, but still not great.
Despite this minor issue, I definitely felt like I'd turned a corner.
Tell you one thing, my days feel longer. Like earlier, I just decided to go and play my guitar, didn't I, for a bit?
But is that because it's a weekend? Yeah,
there's an element of that. Yeah, but weekends gone by recently, they seem to just fly. What's what?
Oh,
Is it doggy?
doggy.
She says goggy.
Doggy.
And what does the doggy say?
Bubba.
Yeah.
Woof woof.
Sorry, that went into a home video then. But yeah, I feel like more present and there's more time in the day. I feel like I've woken up almost a bit from like a dream.
A haze.
You're like plugged in.
Yeah.
You're sort of plugged in. And now I feel like like things are more lucid.
I think that's how I feel on holiday when I don't have my phone at all, really.
Yeah.
You just, because you're trying to like enjoy every minute when you've paid to be on holiday. But this is literally like your life.
It's your life, yeah.
So, all of that was over 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've been away with my wife on a weekend break. I've filmed an adventure for the channel and continued to live smartphone free. So where am I at now, and am I going to carry this on? Well, I'm definitely in a better place than I was before, first off. It's weird that the novelty kind of wore off a bit after that last speech. I just kind of became used to it, but then I noticed that I was, particularly in the last week or so, starting to spend a little bit more time on the computer, either on the weekend, checking WhatsApp messages or checking my FPL a little bit, or in the week when I'm working and I'm just finding myself checking Instagram or YouTube a little bit more than usual. So it was almost like it was shifting screens slightly without me noticing. But that's a discipline thing. And then the other discipline thing has been Snake, which has remained an issue. What can I say? It's a great game, and it's just in my nature, you know, once I've started something, I have to finish it. And in this case, you know, that means getting an insane score, you know, when you fill the screen on Snake, which I do remember doing years ago. Once I've done that, I do think it'll just be out of my system and I won't need to bother with it. I'd delete it right now if I could, but you can't. The phone won't let me do it, so I can't, annoyingly. So those little habits have probably held me back a bit. One thing that became quite annoying, and still is a bit, is having to carry all my bits and bobs around with me. Phone, keys, wallet, notepad, pen, GoPro. I was forever just losing track of where everything was, so I decided to do something about that. I could have become one of these twats, but I decided instead to order a little rucksack. It feels a bit silly, and I'll probably lose it one day, along with all my prized possessions in it. But until that day, at least everything's in its right place. There have been a couple more scenarios where I definitely noticed the smartphone's absence. I went to join a local gym for a month to just train on the step machine, and to sign up I needed to download the app or go to the site. Thankfully the manager there, bless her, let me use her laptop to sign up, and from then on I was able to just punch in a code to access the gym. So that one worked out. I went for a walk with my daughter and got mildly lost. Lost again. Because I still don't know some areas of Lichfield that well. But I just did some steeple chasing, followed the spires, and obviously found my way home. And had a much more memorable experience for it, you know, shared with my daughter. And most recently, I went up to the Lake District to film an adventure, you'll be pleased to know, and had to take the train. But it was fine. I just had to read out a code to the ticket man, and he printed off the tickets for me. But the trip itself, which was another 3-day hike, camping out, except in the darkest, wettest depths of winter, I won't give too much away. I felt so in tune with nature and in tune with myself without the phone. It was the first time in a while where I just had so much time to think. And sure enough, I came up with a couple of ideas for songs, song melodies, and a few profound thoughts too, or at least profound by my standards.
Could it be that the smartest thing we could ever do is to abandon knowledge?
In terms of which apps or functions I actually miss the most, not being able to Google stuff is sometimes really annoying, but I can write them down in my notepad ready to Google later, so that's not too much of a problem. There is a solution. I do miss taking the odd photo or video of my daughter or whatever to send to my family on WhatsApp, or maybe a funny screenshot to my mates, you know, something like an inside joke. I can use the GoPro and send them the file, but it's just a faff, isn't it? And the files are probably too big to send. So I haven't really figured out a good way around that one. I mean, years ago, people would have just gone to the pub or gone round each other's house for a cup of tea and just told each other stories, you know, described in beautiful detail what had happened to them that day or whatever. But people just don't seem to have the time to meet up that much anymore. Maybe we all would if we were on our phones less. That is a profound thought. For a while I did really miss the Farts No Talking WhatsApp group that I was a key contributor of. 150 strangers, no talking, just huge farts. That is mental, isn't it? That's not me. That's a legendary member of the group. But yeah, can't contribute to that anymore. But I think I'll live. I've already gotten over the loss of that. I do miss Shazamming at times. Now, the main function of Shazam is to identify a song or artist, isn't it? But me and my mate Liam, who I make music with, we will Shazam songs because they're so incredibly bad. Like, you know when you go to like B&M Bargains or Sports Direct or Superdrug or something, and they have like these fake songs, not AI, but I don't know, unsigned artists, but just really, really dated. Like, it might sound like a Sheryl Crow B-side, you know, but like with modern production. Anyway, we'll Shazam those to see how few Shazams they have. And I do really miss doing that. But you know what? You can't have it all. There are going to be some sacrifices, and I'm fine with that. The question is, am I going to carry on with this? You know, I've got a baby coming in 2 or 3 weeks' time. Can I keep this going? Yeah, I'm going to try. Just as I suspected would be the case, I've definitely leveled up a bit recently as a person, although admittedly I haven't drank yet this year, so that's definitely got something to do with that. It's both things, but either way, I'm more present, I'm enjoying things more. It's not an extreme difference, but it's there, and I want to build on it. I think now though, now that this video is done, because let's face it, it's been easier for me because I'm making a video out of it. You know, if I wasn't making a video out of it, it would have been harder to win the battle of the wills, you know, at times. So now that this video is over, there is going to be this really strong temptation to just go, I'll use my phone for Spotify as well as banking apps and maps. I'll use it for maps too. And I'll just download this app and use it, and then I'll delete it afterwards. No, I can't be getting into all that. It's not going to work. It'd be like putting a beer in an alcoholic's hand. You know, he's going to drink it, and if my phone's in my pocket, I'm going to just use it. So, I mean, I'll probably go back to using it in some capacity in the future, even if it's just a trial. I might see how that goes, just having a few apps, and see if I can maintain the discipline of not taking it any further. But for the time being, the smartphone is staying in this office, and I'm going to keep using this pocket dialing piece of shit. And that is all for this video. I hope you found it useful, you know, entertaining maybe, but also inspiring and useful. And what I'll do is I'll probably do a follow-up video in maybe 6 months' time or a year's time, depending on how it, you know, what I end up doing. But that will be a while away yet. Meantime, lots of adventures to look forward to. Wish me luck with the new baby, and thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Give it a like, won't you? Cheers. Take care. Right, let's beat this high score.